Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm Will, and I'm joined by my co-host over here, the Grease. And Grease, this is another Drinkin' With episode.
We haven't done them for a minute.
It has been a little bit. It
Yeah.
has been some time.
Well, it's a longer bit. It's like an hour and a half. But
Yeah,
we haven't done it in a while.
Several minutes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
a lot.
So who do we
At
got?
least double digits.
Who do we got tonight? Should I go ahead and bring him in as you intro, or how do you want to do that?
Absolutely. I am a huge fan of this individual. And his name is Aaron Weber, and he's currently hunkered down. We don't know where. It's an undisclosed space. Apparently there's adults involved, and it's not Aaron. I don't know. I think there's questionable activity going on, but he
believe it or not, this is the most well-lit room in my house.
That seems on brand.
And I look like I'm about to tell y'all a ghost story. So thank you so much for having me, man.
Are you afraid of the dark? Yeah.
Yeah. So Aaron is a stand-up comedian. He has been I believe I have heard he was doing some advertising prior to being a comedian. Then he started doing stand-up, and then he has most recently been a part of, simultaneously while getting back into stand-up as the world is opening back up. But he has been a co-host with Nate Bargatze and Brian. Yep.
Planned that one well.
No, that's completely on brand.
Your monologue was going really well. I was proud of you.
Well, it was decent.
I've seen, for you, it was like a 10.
Brian's going to be so pissed.
That's the best.
Even if he sees this, he's going to be super pissed because somebody went to his show the other day at the Opry, and literally he was Facebook friends with him. And the act before him and after him, they had pictures of him and descriptions on Facebook and like nothing about Brian. And he's literally the only guy I cannot name his last name right now.
Well, of that trio, there's a lot of people whose last names you don't know.
There's and first names.
Yeah.
Well, because everybody's like, oh, I've got to
get to our guest.
I'm Bourbon Wanderer on Instagram. Okay, great. That's cool. Yes. So this is Aaron Weber. He is I am a huge fan of him. And as an announcement tonight, which we're really excited about, he is actually a really big part of Whiskey Weekend this year. So we are thrilled to have him joining us for a main event entertainment. He's going to be going on for about an hour for us at Whiskey Weekend on the Friday night of Whiskey Weekend. And so we thought, what better way to basically tailgate for Whiskey Weekend than bringing him on. Aaron, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. Thank y'all so much for having me. I'm excited to do this, man. I'm a little intimidated up top, I'll be honest, because I have now my relationship with alcohol has evolved over the years. And I would say right now I have a casual relationship with alcohol. There have been moments where we've been pretty close, but I'd say right now it's kind of a casual relationship. So it's very intimidating to see all these drinks behind you, and I don't know. It's a little
like how casual are we talking about? Like you cuddled up in a blanket, casual watching Netflix? Or are we talking about like
acquaintances at church?
Yeah, like or you get Brian to drive you down the road, and you're in the
Brian's last name?
Brian Bates.
There it is.
the old BB.
I love that. By the way, your wife in the comments, Grease, is putting Bates with exclamation points.
Thanks, babe.
She's trying to produce.
Will doesn't let me look at the comments because I'm like squirrel. I get really off whack. But or are you talking about casual? Like Brian is driving y'all to the next show, and you're drinking in the passenger seat because in Tennessee you can do that. What kind of casual are we talking about?
Now, is that unique to Tennessee? I know that is legal in Tennessee, but can you not do that in Kentucky or other states?
It's frowned upon in many with like a misdemeanor citation.
Right. But so is the lottery.
Right. I'm also not an attorney, so I'm not going to give you legal advice. But
that's a good call.
But I'll tell you what to invest in.
Well, he's also not a financial advisor. I wouldn't take his advice either.
Will always cringes when I start talking about, crypto or anything. He's like, you can't do that.
Well, I would say it's tough for comics because we're in kind of a unique position, which I'm not complaining about, but you are around free alcohol every night of the week. Every comedy club, if you do a theater or something, there's always free alcohol. You cannot get away from it. So my relationship with it changed because I was like, if I'm going to be drinking like I used to, it's going to become a problem because it is available and it's free everywhere. So I kind of had to set up little barriers in my life.
Okay,
you know?
so speaking of used to, I believe you have a. I would love to pitch this to you to tell us about when you turned 21. I believe there's a story there, maybe with some club soda.
Oh, yeah. So for some backstory, my dad was my high school principal all through high school.
Oh,
So that'll change the way you approach drinking in high school, right out of the gate. So
That's
then
worse.
you get
You're
to college.
grounded and suspended.
Yeah,
I know, right?
That's worse than a preacher's kid. At
It
least
can
the
be.
preacher's kid is like expected. It's like, man, that thing's gonna be wild.
Well, preachers'
Like-
kids will say that to me. They go, "It's worse being a preacher's kid." I was like, "Oh yeah, did all your best friends hang out at the church for 8 hours every day?" No, they don't. So that'll change the way you think about drinking as a high school kid. So I didn't really do it ever. And then you get to college and you just start, you got to catch up. And I went to a college where that was kind of all anybody did was drink. And I remember I got my fake ID. We all sent out for fake IDs on some website our freshman year. And there's a little bar which has since been claimed by eminent domain. It has been demolished in the past couple of years. A little bar called Club 23. And I remember I got in and I wanted to look like I knew what I was doing. I had never been at a bar. I'd never been around alcohol. So I heard somebody say club soda. And I was like, oh, that sounds good. So I went to the bartender and I go, let me get one of those club sodas. Because we didn't call, like, everybody knows what club soda is now. It's water. Like, we didn't call it. I don't know what we called it in my house growing up. Never club soda.
A spritzer.
That's some Perrier or something, something like that.
Oh, yeah, fancy household. Is what
I
you're
hear
saying.
club soda. I'm like,
Sparkling water.
I'm in the club. Let's get the adult Sprite. Like, I'm trying to get hammered out here.
Okay. So just to clarify for our listeners, by the way, if you're listening, please share this with your friends, like it, thumbs it up. We really appreciate it. Everybody needs to hear this man because he's hilarious. But so just to clarify for our listeners, there is no alcohol in a club soda.
There's nothing in it.
Right.
I mean, I
even
don't
have
know
a
where
line.
there's no lime. There's no accompaniment.
It's just
At all.
tasteless carbonation. That is all it is.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
I ordered it, and I'm like, all right. So, I take a sip, and I was like, dude, this is going down so smooth. I was like, I remember thinking, like, dude, I'm going to run college. Like, I'm watching my friends drink, and they kind of squint when they take it, because they're trying to process. And I'm just like, dude, I'm down in this. This is like water, dude. I'm just drinking club sodas. No hangover. It was the best, dude. I'm going to dominate college.
Get up early and make it to class on
Dude,
time.
give me a keg stand of this.
Yeah, let me get around the club sodas for the boys over here. You know what I mean? Trying to party tonight.
Dude, what if you'd have walked in there and said, can I get 10 club sodas? And you
Just start handing them out.
Handing them out.
I just sidle up to a girl at the bar. Hey, would you like? Let me get her a club soda for this lovely lady right here.
I'm pretty sure that's how you get married. Like,
Yeah,
they think
she
you're
would
the
be like,
most respectful person ever.
Right.
Like,
Or she's like, do you think I'm an alcoholic? Why are you ordering me a club soda? I'm like,
Oh,
listen,
man.
only the best, for you.
Honestly, she probably would look at you in that situation like, are you Southern Baptist?
What is it about club soda that's what people drink when you don't want to drink, but you want to be at the bar? That's what people drink. Because you kind of feel like you're participating in the drinking,
yeah.
but you're not. But you could easily just drink a Diet Coke.
And just ask for a little straw. Just get, that's the key. You got to put the little stir straw in there so that you feel like you're really participating, even if it has nothing.
Well, and it's got to
in
be
it.
a splash of water too, because it kind of takes the carbonation down, and you need the liquor does that too. You better know how to do this.
We're telling you that we have problems.
Can we get a Diet Coke splash of water, please?
And give me the little straw, please. As
Yeah.
well.
Do you know how embarrassing it is? I didn't know. Probably 2 years ago, I found out you weren't supposed to drink through that straw.
I mean,
Somebody told
our
me that's
priest
not
still
for
drinks through it.
drinking.
Oh, I drink through it every time.
Oh, you do? All right, that makes me feel
yeah.
better.
Yeah. I mean, I
somebody
don't know.
called
I don't
me
know
out.
if you doing the same thing that he does is something that should make you feel better, but
Well, I know the diameter's a little smaller, but my mom always told me that's why people put straws in alcohol so you can drink it faster. Now my mom's crazy as hell. So I would always, even though it's probably not, I'm probably drinking it half as fast
Mhm.
through that little red straw. Anyway, it's fine. It's on brand.
So, Aaron, how did you get into comedy? What we know how you got into drinking, and that included club soda.
Wait.
How did you get into
Before
comedy?
we move on, can I just ask, like, the bros that you rolled with, like, set up that situation? Like, what does that look like? I mean, obviously, people heard you order a club soda. Did they think you were just chilling and wanting to hang and not really drink? Or
I actually think it probably happened discreetly. I don't remember how it was handled. I think it was like I realized what was happening, and then I just didn't tell anybody because I was so embarrassed that I think I'm hanging out drinking with everybody, and then I'm like, oh, I've been drinking water this whole time. And thinking, I'm like, I'm doing cheers, I'm toasting with a water.
You didn't even need the fake
And
ID.
I think I probably was acting drunk too.
I don't know. It was a club. Yeah. I think you have to sugar ID to get in, and you get stamped. Old school, bro.
Right.
Old school. Did your dad show up? That's the question.
Oh, no.
Did your dad show up? I'm like, son, what are you doing here? And he smells it and like, what is this? This is sparkling water. Okay.
Is this a LaCroix? No. Yeah. So I started
You
stand-up.
think LaCroix was around when you were 20 something? I don't know whether you were.
No. I was probably in its infancy.
Yeah.
It wasn't socially acceptable. That definitely wasn't socially acceptable.
It wasn't soccer moms in the grocery store with their LaCroix, right?
No.
Like now they're ubiquitous.
Okay, before we move on, one more quick question.
I don't think you know how
moving on
give and take works. Yeah.
No. I want to know. I want to know just so that we have a gauge,
right,
of how long this was ago. How old are you now?
I just turned 30 a couple months ago.
Okay. In a decade.
So this was, man, that's tough to do. That's like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
11 or 12 years ago. That is tough to say out loud. Well, we were
Breeze
talking
is an old
earlier.
man.
We're talking off air. Do you ever have this moment where, like, I'm watching sports?
We're on air.
Let him speak.
I thought he was saying we're talking off air. I just wanted him to know that we're live.
He understands that.
Okay.
Y'all let me know when we're rolling, okay? And then
then you'll tell some stories. Right?
I'm watching sports, and your whole life you grow up idolizing these guys, right? And then all of a sudden you look up and you are older than everybody on the court. And everybody's talking about Tom Brady being an old man and LeBron is old. And I'm like, LeBron is 7 or 8 years older than me. Like, we would have gone to elementary school at the same time.
And that's the problem now that Brady is out. I mean, we could still hold on to that, as Grease and I are Grease in his late 30s, but we could still be like, at least there's that one guy that still we can look up to, but no longer.
Yeah, did y'all see that? It was that lineman on the Rams that looked like a Greek philosopher. It's like 70 years old. I think he just retired too. That's another big loss for the old guys. A huge college football fan, and then you watch college football. And these are children. These are 18-year-old kids. And I still watch them like, man, I want to grow up and do that one day. They are 12 years younger than me. Yeah. It's very depressing. Anyway.
What position would you play?
I'll move on. You know what I mean? I'll get. What's that? What position I play?
Yeah.
I'll play quarterback, cornerback. All positions.
I think you've got the quarterback physique.
I've got the build.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, I will say, dude, like you have crushed the diet world. Like, you look great, bro.
Thank you, man. I think I've gained a lot of it back in the last couple of weeks, but I'm down. I mean, I was 330 at my biggest, and now I'm around 265.
That's awesome.
So, it's pretty. It happens gradually, like anything. So you don't really notice it until every now and then a picture of myself from like last year will pop up on social media, and I'm like, oh my god, dude. I remember seeing a picture. I remember when I saw the picture the first time, right after it was taken, I was like, dude, I'm killing it. I thought I was like, I'm killing it in this picture, dude. I look great. And I posted it. Now it's like, man, that is tough to look at. So I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I got.
TB12, bro. All right. Well, I was going to ask how you got into comedy, but that was 36 minutes ago. So,
All right, we can still do that if you want.
Yeah. I am curious though. Like, what was kind of the thing that got you into like, I'm going to go tell jokes. I'm going to go stand up and do this. You know, because it's an intimidating to me. It seems like an intimidating thing to decide I want to do this. You know.
Yeah. I've been a fan of stand up my whole life. I had a couple specials memorized when I was a kid, and I would perform them at field trips and family events and things like that. So I'd always liked stand up. And then in college, I became incredibly vain and craved attention constantly and could not find an outlet for that. Could not find a way to talk into a microphone and have everybody shut up. And I remember thinking comedy will allow me to do that. That's only half true, but that is a very real part of why I got into it. So started doing stand-up. We had a club in college that's called the Student Stand-Ups, and we would do these shows for students once every other month or so. And I started doing that, liked it a lot, thought I was amazing. Like I'd done one show and I was like, I might be the best comic of all time. I remember thinking like, dude, I'm great. And then I moved after college. I moved to Nashville, went to an open mic, which is real comedy. You know, I was in Disneyland for 4 years, and now I'm doing comedy for people that don't care. And it humbled me real quick. So that was, 2015 is when I started doing open mics in Nashville. And then I went full time in 2019. And that's all I've been doing the past 6 years or so.
And you mentioned those years, and I mean, it can't be lost on any of us that you went full time in 2019, and then in a business that is based off of, especially when you're starting out, small clubs, people packed in, really close, touring the country, and yet everywhere I go, when I'm talking about comedy with people, they know your name. You've been able to grow your career during the worst time to be someone in the business of standing in a small room, talking to people.
Oh yeah.
How did you do this?
I think two things probably help with that. First is obviously the podcast that I've been on with Nate Bargatze called
Aaron Land, right?
Yeah, called Aaron Land. Aaron Land airs
Aaron Land segments. So.
Aaron Land airs in little spurts throughout Nate Land. It's tough to find, but if you listen for it, you'll hear it.
Yeah, I built an algorithm that actually skips to it. It's great.
Oh my gosh, I would love to just skip through. That started in the summer of 2020. So I've been doing that for the past year and a half now. So that's been amazing. That's been it's the most fun that I've ever had, just being in that room and talking with Nate and Brian, and B, it's how a lot of people know me. The other thing is I'm very lucky to live in this part of the country because places opened up very quickly down here compared to, I did a weekend at a club in May of 2020, which if you tell comedians from New York and LA, they're like, that is insane.
Yeah.
You remember
where was that?
Mid-March is when COVID started. And then the first weekend of May, I did a weekend at a club. Now, granted, it was reduced capacity. It was spread out. Some people were wearing masks. So it was different, but I was very lucky to be able to do that. A lot of people didn't get to go up for a year. And then they just sat in a room that looks like the one I'm in right now for a year and got depressed and all kinds of stuff. I was lucky to be able to go out,
And you mentioned Nate Land podcast, and really over the past several years, but I feel like especially during the pandemic, podcasts as a medium have been extremely influential in comedy. Where I remember as a kid growing up, having the CDs of Jerry Seinfeld or Jeff Foxworthy, a Southern boy, having those CDs, and you'd listen to it on a car trip or things like that. But then obviously streaming helped being able to get the sets and the specials, you know, in an easier form. Not every Walmart had a big comedy section if you're going to pick up a comedy CD, but now even more, being able to put people that are extremely funny in and of themselves, that are able to put out content frequently, that you're getting to know comedians in a different way than just their sets.
Right. The relationship is totally different because you think about the guys.
Has it changed the game, do you think, that now that podcasts
100%. 100%. I mean, think about the guys you watched growing up. How did you know about them? You only knew them through their act, right? And now I meet people who come to shows who have like, I've listened to every episode of your podcast, and I'm doing the math, and I'm like, that is hundreds of hours of you listening to me, not do an act, but just talk, and you get to know me and Nate and Brian and whoever else. You get to know them as a person. That totally changes the relationship.
And you recently opened for somebody, and I believe you got some pretty intense applause when you came out there and you weren't headlining.
What was that?
It was, I don't know. I was on a recent episode that you were talking about, like you were opening for someone else, and like there's a bunch of like, let's go.
That's the coolest thing. So we've got a running joke on the podcast. Nate likes to make fun of this epidemic of people saying "let's go," which, since he pointed it out, I mean, do y'all notice that around everywhere too? It's every sports clip. What did people used to say when they dunked a basketball?
Boom shakalaka.
You think Michael Jordan yelled "boom shakalaka"?
I'm not wrong, Aaron. I'm not wrong. Look at freaking NBA Jam.
Yeah.
That Grease's sports knowledge, even though he's a big Georgia Bulldogs fan, doesn't really get much outside of the realm of what was said on NBA Jam or like Tecmo Bowl.
But I say he's on fire like daily.
I know you do.
But that was said more often than "let's go." At some point that came around. That just became the default. People don't even think about it. It's just a guttural response. Anytime, "let's go." Like, I don't know when that started. So anyway, Nate hates that. So he made a running joke of, let's just say "let's go" to start every podcast, just to make fun of those people.
Well, he Tennessee kids it up a little bit with folks. Let's go, folks.
Let's go, folks. Yeah. Yep. So now, when sometimes when I walk on stage, people will yell "let's go" at me when the show starts. And it's cool when I'm opening for somebody that's not affiliated with our podcast and they just didn't even know I was on the show, and they're there and they yell it out. That happened this weekend in Durham, North Carolina. Somebody yelled "let's go," and I was not expecting it. It's very cool. It's like a rallying cry for us, you know? So that's been a really special thing.
And for Nate, you become the thing you hate.
I know, it happens so quick.
Oh man. So this is just, I mean, speaking of the Nate Land podcast, do you have gout?
I'm afraid to check.
I doubt it.
It's one of those things that's like, I don't want to know. I'd rather live not knowing than have it confirmed that I am a 30-year-old man with gout.
That's fair.
You know, so I'm just not going to get it checked. I had a strange foot pain. This is about 2 summers ago, middle of the night. My foot just hurt. It just hurt so bad, and I couldn't explain it. And, you know,
it had too much club soda.
This wasn't this was not a
you were dehydrated.
Right. This was not a running related injury. This wasn't like, you know, I didn't hit the Peloton too hard that day. My foot was just hurting out of nowhere, and I had no explanation for it, and I could not sleep. And so I went to the hospital, went to the ER. It's the middle of COVID. Went to the ER, and they were like, "Your foot looks fine." And I told the story on the podcast, and I got hundreds of messages saying that I have gout just based on my description of it. I got somebody sent me like an Amazon link for like a book called like Living with Gout. I'm like, I don't.
Wait, they didn't even buy it for you?
No, they just said you should get this.
I'm calling that person out.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, it's like, it's a funny joke, but I would,
unless it was your mom, then, you know, or something like
right.
that.
Well, it's funny because I don't think I have it, but if I found out that I have gout, which there's a good chance, I don't want to know.
I don't think I have it. There's a
But
good chance.
Yeah, but in the good chance that I do,
I don't think I
Right.
have
I
it,
would
but there's
rather not.
more likely than not I do. But
yeah.
ignorance is bliss.
I did before we move along from the show or whatever. One of the funnier things on the show that I love is y'all typically at some point, very often, there's a dispute of how to say words.
Oh yeah,
and we do that. I mean, you've been doing that for 7 years, and I only have 2 of the things.
What's a big one for y'all?
Oh, he says TB Island for TYBEE Island.
And that's like literally has offended your soul.
It's Tybee.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I love how offended you are in that. It's like, that's my favorite vacation spot.
It's not. It's not great.
I feel like if I said Bahamas, like you'd be really upset if I called the Bahamas the Bahamas.
Yes, I absolutely would.
I would be upset if you called it the Bahamas.
I mean, I probably should not be allowed out in public if I call it the Bahamas.
Bahamas. Bahamas. No, I have to have an extra syllable. That doesn't even work. That joke doesn't even work. It's not even a joke. It's just a crash and burn.
Yeah.
He also said his other one is you got to catch him in it because he's now self-conscious about it. But he used to say "reamed" and for ruined.
No, I've never said "reamed."
Oh, it's very close.
Okay.
They ruined.
Yeah, say ruined.
Yeah,
ruined.
Yeah. Well, now
I say it in the normal phonetical pronunciation of the word.
Right. So I'm impressed by the way. I wonder how Nate says gout. Because he might say something like goot. There's a U in it, right?
I bet you could find out. I bet there's a way.
You want me to just call him and ask him?
I bet he has said it that you could hear the audio. If only there was
there was a documentation.
There's like a podcast or something you could listen to where
it's very true.
Yeah.
That's very, very true. Bengals or Bengals? That's one.
Bengals.
Well, I know you're Bengals, but I'm just saying that was one of them that was hilarious.
Y'all both say it that way too, right?
I say Bengals.
That's what it is.
I think I may have lost some frequencies in my ears in my old age because I'm not quite. Are you saying Bangles or Bengals?
Bengals.
I know. I don't know that I am hearing what you're saying.
It's more of an A for me.
The Bengals.
Right, like the band, the Bengals.
Yeah, Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah,
there you go. Walk like
it's not Cincinnati Bengals. Who says that?
Well, Brian and Nate were arguing that it's Bengals.
Well, there's apparently only one Christian in that trio. There's only one saved person.
So you're coming to Whiskey Weekend.
Yes, sir.
You're probably
we're moving away from faith real quick.
You're probably regretting this after already the short time we spent together.
Not even a little bit.
But so what is first of all, we call Whiskey Weekend adult summer camp.
Awesome.
What is, you're not allowed to have just club soda there, but what's going to be in your glass at Whiskey Weekend? What's your go-to whiskey drink?
If there's ever a venue that you can do this at,
right,
it's this one.
Well, what is there like a hacky answer for this? Like, would it be like, I don't know, if I said Jack Daniels, is that like saying the Beatles is my favorite band?
I'm wearing a Jack Daniels shirt right now.
You're allowed to drink whatever you want. That's the beauty of whiskey.
Oh, I like that. You're not snobby about it.
No. That's the point of this event.
Yeah.
So if I showed up with a fifth of Old Granddad,
you don't need to show
up with it. It'll already be there and in plenty. So
if you want the Old Granddad, we'll get it.
I love Old Granddad.
I'd say Jack Daniels is what I'll get.
Little Coke or Diet Coke or what's your, do you mix it?
Jack and Diet.
Yeah,
that'd be the drink. A little Jack and Ginger every now and then. That's
just if you're feeling fancy,
just to switch it up. If I just want a sugar rush.
Yeah, you like a lime in it, or you just go with no fruit.
I look that bartender in the eyes and I say, "Go nuts."
Oh, yeah, just do whatever you want.
They go, "Do you want any garnishes?" I go, "Do it." I put a cinnamon twist in there. Do it.
Have some apples. I could take an apple slice.
Oranges. Yeah, right. I'll take a lime.
You can't say that at the blackjack table though. You can't tell the waitress, I need a ginger and
Jack and Ginger, but
go nuts, because she might start, I don't know, like, kissing the neck or something like that. No. I meant with the fruit.
You go to interesting casinos.
Oh, well, yeah. Why would you go to a normal one?
That's fair.
Some of the saddest shows I've ever done in my life are at casinos.
Okay. I did want to get to this.
Yeah.
I did. I would love to know what a sad show is, and I would love to know, like, have you ever? Because it's very dependent on the audience. Like, you could crush if the people aren't engaged. You know what I mean? Like, it can just it gets to you, and it kind of eats at you a little bit, and you just feel off, and like nothing's clicking. Is there a, like a bomb moment? But that's the second one. I want to know about the crap
Casinos
shoot
first. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to hear about the casino for sure. I mean, I'm I need to hear about the gambling side of it.
Right.
But then I would love to know if there's an epic fail.
Those casino gigs is what you get this. When you think of a casino, I feel like most people will think of Vegas high rollers, beautiful people walking in
And Carrot
drinking martinis, but that's not the reality. Most casinos are some of the most depressing places that you've ever been. At least the ones I'm doing comedy in. So I remember I can't remember the name of it, which is probably a good thing because I'm about to trash it. But in Michigan, middle of a city I'd never heard of in Michigan, on Mother's Day. I'm doing a show on Mother's Day at a casino.
In Michigan.
And in Michigan, and there's the
Mother's
Day buffet is the place to be in this city on Mother's Day. So there's just hundreds of people, and it's old women, smoking a cigarette with a walker. So like they're walking, and then they got it, and then they take it, and it's just like you've never seen humanity like this before.
My Aunt Armide would be with oxygen too, and that plate would be like Lobster Tail City. Like it would look like Maine,
dude,
on that plate.
They were getting after it at this buffet, and then they'd walk into this huge banquet hall, which comedy it's weird. It's the smaller the room, the better. That's like a good rule of thumb. It's like the bigger the room, the worse the show's going to be. That's always how it happens. So they're in this huge room. They're spread out. They're ripping cigarettes. They got oxygen masks on. They're eating the Mother's Day buffet. And I had to do 30 minutes. I was opening for my buddy Dusty Slay. And I just remember I was bombing so bad. Nobody cared that I was up there. Half the people weren't facing me. I remember I just looked to Dusty. I just kind of broke the fourth wall. I was just like, do I need to finish this? Can I just, you just kind of have every now and then you have a moment at a show where you're like, do we even need to, you want to just go, hey, everybody stop real quick.
What's that John Travolta meme or the GIF?
Yeah. Shrugging. So many times I just want to go, hey, everybody, just look real quick. Do y'all want to do this? Because we don't have to.
Look, somebody give me a cigarette.
On y'all.
Somebody give me a cigarette.
There's something about Virginia Slims right now.
We can all just agree to leave, and I'll still get paid.
And
so let's
y'all will save money.
Yum.
And this will be better for me too.
Right. It's bad when it's when people aren't expecting a show. That's when it's bad. When you surprise people with comedy, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's just awful because it's you need to be paying attention. It's not like music. Music can be in the background. Music's passive, in a lot of ways. And I need you to listen to me. Not only listen to me, but like process what I'm saying and react to it. I need you to participate in this. So that is a lot to ask of people who didn't sign up for it. I do shows all the time where I'm like, the crowd's bad. And I'm like, I don't blame them. They didn't ask for this. I did a open mic recently. This is like last week. I didn't end up going up, but it was at a bar, and there was a group of like 15 people having a going away party for a guy. It was a guy in a wheelchair, and he was having a going away party, and we're just forcing comedy on him. And I felt so bad. I want to be like, y'all, you're trying to celebrate this person, and here we are screaming at you. I felt so bad. It's just those are the situations you get put in. I'm still getting put in them, and I'll get in them years from now. I'm sure.
I'm kind of nervous about Whiskey Weekend because I don't know if they've asked for it.
But we're going to put it on them.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this now, so like people understand context.
As long as people are facing me.
Yeah. Oh no, they'll be facing.
That's huge. We
have restraints.
It's a pretty low bar, so I think y'all can do it. That's pretty much the only thing. If they're sitting down and looking at me, I'll do the rest.
I'll make that happen. I mean, here's the deal. What we could do is get them like hats or something that has a face on the back of their head too. So no matter what way they're looking,
perfect.
I mean, just to keep it comfortable.
Yeah, it's like the comedian's defense mechanism. It's kind of like some animals, in the wild, and their eyes shut. It still looks like an eye as a defensive mechanism.
Oh,
you need an audience to wear clothing items that always looks like it's facing you.
Yeah, it's like the cartoons when a kid be sleeping in class and he paint eyeballs on his eyelids.
Exactly. You're like, I'm fine with it. He doesn't have to laugh. Just look at me.
Oh, my nipples got Sharpied one time.
I don't know if that's what he's
talking
in class.
When did that happen?
Northeast Georgia, man.
Yeah,
they breed them different.
It was different for sure. Well, I also got, I think that same day I got turned into the hall because my phone started playing Into Club by 50 Cent. And
also on brand.
We're not supposed to have phones. Yeah. No, I am. So Whiskey Weekend is essentially the perfect weekend for Will and I. Basically, we just basically make it our perfect weekend.
Yeah.
That's it. And then everybody else somehow agrees with us.
Yeah.
But no, so they're going to be drinking for about, I would say, close to 10 hours before you go on. It's going to be
plus a day before that.
Right.
About 36 hours in at that point.
You're bringing an opener, but you probably don't necessarily need Matt to come. However, I'm glad he is, because that just sounds like more material and more fun.
Right.
They're going to be
it's going to be full circle for you, because at some point he's going to look over at you and be like, do we need to finish this?
Right. I'm still on the fence of, if on Nateland podcast, if Aaron even goes there, be like, I played this whiskey. I performed at this whiskey event this weekend.
Yeah, what's going to happen? They're going to be like, "What'd you do this week?" He's like, "Just sat at home."
Yeah, just
literally did not do a thing.
Yeah, a little me time,
Yeah,
it's going to be fun. The fact that you were two just nice guys, it's already going to be good. I can tell.
Oh no, yeah,
you know what I mean. You can just kind of tell it's going to be fun.
I would say,
I think you'll enjoy yourself.
I would say this: we have, and it's a testament to Will's vision, and him keeping everything kind of together. But we've always been, and it's very similar to your comedy and Nate and Brian. We've always been, safe. Not safe. Like we haven't compromised content.
Mm-hmm.
But we've delivered it in a way, especially for our show, and in the whiskey world, this is very unique. But we've always been a show where if you're driving down the road as a dad, you can have us on in the car. We've always done that. Now, are we talking about stuff that is in no way, obtain or pertains to their children? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it is something nice that that they can do, and we've often been praised highly for that, which
that's great.
And on y'all's side of that, it's very similar, and it takes, I'm just gonna say it, I would argue that it takes more talent on y'all's side of things, you, Brian and Nate, and others that keep, John Christ as well. Others like that. I think it actually takes more talent in that environment to do that. I'm not in a way corresponding that with our talent. I'm just saying, we just don't say bad words.
No,
you're really good at making yourself sound great, Grease.
I know.
That was good. I appreciate that, man. It can be harder in a lot of ways, but I'm pretty lucky. It's kind, I'm saying everything that I want to say. I never feel like I've got a hand tied behind my back or anything. Like I can't think of any, like, I don't think of jokes and then go, I wish I could tell that.
Well, your success says that 100%, for sure. And you're, you slay every time I've seen you. I've seen you now 3 times in the last year.
Oh, cool.
At different events, and
he's like, wait, I said they were nice guys. Now I realize that The guy with the backward hat on is a stalker.
Stalker. No, but so I wanted to circle back into that is because of that mentality that Will and I have been focused on, and Will's kept me grounded in that, because I can get off the rails sometimes, but he's always like, hey man, dude, like let's we're better than that. And I'm like, absolutely. And that's just that's his character. But I would argue that our audience is so caring and just genuinely good people, because of that, because of that road that we've paved over the past 7 years. We are extremely fortunate, of our following. Number one, they're all incredible friends of ours, the ones that we get to interact with and hang out with, and Whiskey Weekend's a huge part of that. This is our fourth batch, and our first batch, it was basically, we didn't know anybody there. We had known them, but we hadn't met them in person. And now we are committing to being in a hotel with each other for 4 days, 3 nights. You know what I'm saying? So, but they ended up being amazing. And so I have zero, I'm not nervous at all about the acceptance and love and just overall cool factor that I think you will get to experience as well, because there's probably a connotation in many people's heads of, I'm going to a 3-day bender at a whiskey event in Louisville, Kentucky. You know what I mean? And it's honestly, it's a good hang. It's respectful. It's,
there you go. That's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're responsible adults having fun, right? There's a big difference. Well,
we are adults having fun.
Yes.
There you go. Hey, functional adults.
Respectful and responsible are not the same word.
You're functional adults with an academic appreciation of liquor.
Right. And sometimes we just want to study. Academic. Sometimes we just want to study that liquor.
No, but I'm saying is there's a difference between a group of adults committed to whiskey weekend versus just drunk animals at a dive bar. There's a huge distinction 100%. In my head between those two things.
And I'm sure you will have played both by the end of Whiskey Weekend.
It's interesting. We added security this year for Whiskey Weekend, not because of our people, because we had some outside people come in and create chaos and start stealing stuff and all this other stuff. So
Grease is really selling it hard now that we've got like papers signed,
There you go.
We had to get security. There's chaos, mass hysteria.
No. I mean, it was
heck of a salesman.
No, it was just a couple of guys sauntered up.
Heck of a salesman.
It was a couple of drunk guys came in there
just trying to crash the party.
Yeah. I mean, let me go ahead and tell you something. You want to crash our party.
I was gonna say that's how you know it's a good party.
Yeah.
If people are crashing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I did talk to a couple that was in their 70s last year.
They were fabulous.
Good 30 minutes and was selling them hard on coming back the next year. I don't think they signed up, but if they did, that would have been the greatest accomplishment I've ever done.
They bought they came in there, 70-year-olds.
They bought merch.
like $200 of merch.
They finished their dinner. They saw this. They bought merch and left.
Yeah, just a casual.
Yeah.
Responsible adult elderly.
There you go. Love it.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
You're good. But no. I do want to talk about one thing, because we did talk about early how when you got into comedy, the timing of when you got into comedy, but you have these accomplishments, especially for people that are in the South and understand what the meaning of the Opry is. And I believe you're the youngest comedian to play the Opry. Or something.
As far as I know. So my buddy Dusty.
We won't check your facts. We'll go ahead and W that.
So I'll tell you all the research I did. Is my buddy Dusty Slay, when he made his debut at the Grand Ole Opry, he said he was the youngest, and then I debuted younger than him, so I just stole his credit.
Yeah, but I mean that's an incredible accomplishment. That I mean the Grand Ole Opry is world renowned. And just even the concept of being able to participate in that way is incredible. And like I said, you have these accomplishments and these like wonderful things to show in your career. And like you said, you've only been doing it full time since 2019. That's just remarkable to me. And so I think it's awesome. And we're honored that you'll, take the time to be on the show and also come to our event as well.
Of course,
because we're really excited about the trajectory you're on, because we know that you're going to keep growing, and we're excited about that.
Oh, dude, thank y'all so much.
Yeah, I mean, we had no street cred with you at all. I was very excited when you and your team said yes to our event. Like, there's a lot of questions. You know what I mean? Like, man, I'm not going to go to a freaking drunk fest. You know what I mean? That's just not my style. You know what I mean?
It's a good thing. Last year, we've themed each year. The first one was the inaugural whiskey weekend. The second one was Return of the Wheeze. Don't ask about that. The third one, last year, we called it 3-day drinking game.
Yep.
And so just the fact that if anyone had done research before, what is this whiskey weekend? 3-day drinking game. Nope. Not responding to that one.
Right.
Return of the Wheeze.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, don't ask about the Wheeze.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll meet him, but
I will sum that up in 10 seconds. Everyone at the inaugural whiskey weekend batch thought that I was going to be
the wild card.
The wild card. This man ended up showing up. Actually,
go.
Will did not show up.
The
Wheeze showed up, and it's history from there.
Yeah.
You always know the Wheeze shows up. He kind of puts his shoulders first and just kind of intentionally just kind of walks into a room and snatches a bottle out of somebody's hand and turns it up. And I literally, in that moment, tell everybody, shut up. The Wheeze is here.
And then everybody goes, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
We're doing
Is the Wheeze going to make an appearance this year?
Good chance. You'll be there Friday night. Yeah, you'll meet.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
After your show, though.
Okay.
Yeah. It's late Saturday night where you.
Oh no! I turned into a docile cat Saturday night. I go to bed.
Will is very introverted, and this is out of his comfort zone. But he literally goes so hard because he knows he needs to. Like, these people have come to see him and hang with him, and he's fighting it. By Saturday, he's like, I'm having an emotional heart attack right now, and I need rest. And so, you know what? Last year, he literally takes a 3/4 full bottle of this very nice, expensive whiskey, slams it on the table, and he goes, everybody out. And there was 40 people in our room, probably.
Yeah, it was a sizable number.
So I didn't see that go down. So I come out of the room and I go live because I've never seen anything like this. I go live and I'm going through the room. And I'm like, this is a third world country right now. And then I come across this, and every bottle, by the way, is cashed. Every bottle is dunzo, right? Because people took their bottles with them, or there was, 20 bottles that people drank through. And on the table, as a spectacle, there is a $600 bottle of whiskey that is 3/4 full. And I'm like, what? That's my question. That's when I know something wrong happened.
Yeah.
If I see that out of all of these whiskeys, I'm like, that's a $30 bottle, $50 bottle, $60 bottle. And then there's a $6, and it's borderline not touched. I'm like, something weird went down. And so I literally go into Will's room and I'm like, hey, Will, what happened last night? He's like, I don't know. I kicked everybody out. He was just done so.
The Wheeze took over.
That's what happened. This is our buddy Jason Newman says you can always spot the Wheeze. He's the one in the Merle Haggard tour jean jacket. And that,
oh man,
I purchased that off Instagram for the first whiskey weekend, and surprisingly, unlike most purchases off Instagram from a random sketchy account, it arrived at my house.
But it smelled exactly how you thought it would.
I ripped open the package, and my entire house smelled like Winston's.
Like moldy Winston.
Yeah, and so I took it and threw it out in the grass and left it there for a solid month to detox, and it's made an appearance ever since. So,
oh, that's amazing, man.
Okay, so one quick fun question that I have.
Yeah,
as a I know you're performing at Whiskey Weekend, but I would say in a little bit of a sense, you're also attending for a few hours.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is there something that you're looking forward to in attending this event that you have no idea what you're getting into? Is there, and two, just with any other show too, like, oh, I've never played that venue. This is not a venue that you're like, oh, this is iconic or this is anything else. We're in a ballroom at a hotel, right? So
yeah.
But I didn't know if there was anything that you look forward to on a new show or even Whiskey Weekend specifically.
Yeah, to do a show like this that's part of a weekend is exciting. That it's part of a larger thing with like a conference or anything like that. That's very fun because there's already a camaraderie among the audience. Right?
Yeah, it's essentially a family reunion.
That's very unique because you go to a typical show at a comedy club, the tables know each other, but this table and this table are not friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have a huge group that's all there for the same reason, that's a totally different dynamic. People laugh differently, they behave differently. So that part I'm excited about because it's going to be like just a bunch of friends hanging out, laughing at jokes.
I could see a handbag convention being questionable though.
That's fair. I mean, I've never attended one, Grease, so I can't.
I actually have.
That also is the least surprising thing I've heard today.
Yep. I filmed an embroidery MLM at a big conference.
Really?
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet that paid pretty well.
It did, actually.
I'm sure it did.
It was
embroidery.
It was Aaron Weber money.
And then you hired 5 people under you and then paid them. And
film it. But it was weird because
I just hung out with ladies in the bags.
The third year, it was 86 people filming the conference. It was weird.
Right.
Because they hired, it was a trickle down.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Back to you, Eric. Sorry. That was
we'll be right.
I derailed with handbags. I always do that.
I do want to say,
if I'm going to derail,
killing it, man. I'm having fun.
We do want to point out though that because not everyone can come to Whiskey Weekend because there's a whole cap to it,
right?
But that you're a touring comedian, and Aaron Weber Comedy .com is
it's my MySpace page.
It's your MySpace page. You have an active MySpace page. You can check out your dates there. Have they added a live stream feature to MySpace yet? I haven't checked up on that recently.
Well, I haven't. So this is actually this is a WordPress website that I built to look like an old school MySpace page.
And it looks just like it.
Yeah, it's probably the thing I'm most proud of that the least amount of people care about. I spent so much time building that website from scratch, and every now and then somebody understands the joke of it.
Yeah.
And I've had so many people go, you need a real website. This is like not professional. And I'm hanging on to it. So if anybody out there, if you have nostalgia for like the 2004, 2005 era internet, go to aaronwebercomedy.com. Look at my MySpace page. I got fake ads on there. I've got my top 8. I'll add you guys to the top 8 tonight.
Yes.
I'll put you on the top 8 so you can see that. It was like just a fun thing that I made, and I think I'm gonna hang on to it till somebody rips it out of my head.
Till someone forces you to change.
Yeah.
We were hanging out before this, talking through the show, and I was like, you know what? At the end of this, I just want to be in this top 8.
You're gonna have someone approach you about an arena tour in about, your growth in 3 weeks. So just post Whiskey Weekend, you're gonna get offered this arena tour, and they're gonna say, "Here's the one catch: we're gonna redo your website completely." What do you say?
I say we're making it a Zanga.
Dude, I've tried to find my old Zanga.
The best thing is we talked about Zanga last week.
We did talk about I got fired from a church because of my Zanga.
Oh, were you going off on there writing some blogs?
No,
it's worse than that.
It's worse.
Oh, okay.
Also better than that. Like it.
Oh no,
it was most
completely
thing
innocent,
ever.
But a church deemed it not, and it was
okay.
it's one of those things.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, jokes on them. Now you're on a whiskey podcast.
Right. Yeah, this isn't a green screen. This is you can grab this. It's weird.
Oh man.
Where are y'all? This is the most legit looking setup. Is this at one of y'all's houses?
This is in my basement.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool.
This is called the Nook.
Yeah.
When did you set this up? Did you do this during COVID as like a project, or have you had it like this for a while?
Actually, yes.
He moves houses every 2 years, so we won't be in here, but for another, I mean, you guys actually should be shopping for houses right now because you've been in this one about long enough.
The market's too weird.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
it's just a weird market right now, you know.
That's one of those things I say, and I have no idea what that means.
It's
know?
the market, man.
Ah, dude, the market's real tipsy-turvy right now. People are like, what does that mean? Dude, my old
this market.
I used to live with a guy. He's still a friend of mine, but he would say really dumb things every now and then. He owned a house, and I can't trash talk him too much. I lived in a house that he owned. But I remember he
I would assume you can't trash him.
He's doing better than me. He's doing better than me. But I remember he met with his real estate agent. He was thinking about selling his house and buying something else. And he comes home and I go, how'd that real estate meeting go? And he goes, dude, I think I'm gonna wait till the market crashes, bro. And I go, to wait till what? He's like, till the market crashes so I can get the highest price. So I was like, I don't know if you don't.
I don't
know if you don't know
it's
what
not
market means.
It's not a crash symbol. I mean, I know at the end of the show you're like, bam, on the crash symbol, but that's not.
I'm gonna wait till the economy implodes, and then I'm gonna put this house up on the market. I was like, I don't know a lot, but I know that that's not what you meant to say just now.
But until then, I'm going to continue to live here. So, and then I might buy it if you're selling at crash points. So.
Oh yeah. Get it as low as you can.
You're not still in this house, though, right?
No, I'm in my wife's house.
That's fair.
Right
That's I am as well. This 10 by 10 is this is the only space that I own.
There you go. Look at us compressed into these little corners of somebody else's house.
Yeah,
right.
the best thing is that we're probably in the same like type space setup. It's just we're using a wide angle lens so we can both fit into it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
and
actually
it's well
in each
lit,
other's
and you
paths
put thought into the background. See, that's what I should have taken if I were smart. COVID hit. I go, I'm going to get a nice little setup in here so that when I do the podcast, I'll have a comparable setup. And look what I did. I hung 2 posters up and I thought that's decor.
Yeah.
Hey,
how many of these
we got a Bill Burr poster, so that's excellent.
That's the old Billy Bible Belt tour. As before I started stand up, I saw Bill Burr in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, that's
and I got that poster, so I like it a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah. Do you do many of Zoom interviews or anything like this that's video? Because I mean, like the set at Nate's, like it's nice, you know, and y'all have got a multi-camera crew and all that stuff that's happening for audio.
There was a minute where it's all anybody was doing. So everybody's like, let's invest in our Zoom setup. I did shows over Zoom. I was doing stand-up over Zoom, stuff like that. So thankfully, that's all gone away. It's still fun to pop in and, you know, get to talk to you guys. Like I wouldn't have been able to do this if it wasn't over, you know, the internet. So it's still fun to have a setup here. Dude, I did a show. For Texas Roadhouse. You know, the restaurant.
The peanuts. Throw the peanuts on the floor.
They emailed me, and I got this woman said, "I'd love for you to crash our Zoom cocktail hour." And she goes, "Are you familiar with Texas Roadhouse?" And I emailed back, and I was like, "Are you familiar with me?" I've had 3 graduation dinners there. Yeah. And I only graduated twice. I love Texas Roadhouse. So this one.
Well, the second one they gave you a buy one get one. So I mean, you had to use the second.
Get that BOGO going,
right?
So I remember I was like, "How am I gonna ingratiate myself to these Texas Roadhouse employees?" It's corporate. It's people at the corporate office, right? So I used to have back when I was really committed to this. I had a big green screen back here, so I could fool around with the Zoom background. And I go, "Yeah, I'll get some peanuts, you know, because there's peanuts all over the place. I'll just put a bunch of peanuts." And that'll make them like me. So I hop in. First of all, to crash anything, people have to know who you are.
Right. Oh, yes.
You know, Kevin Hart could crash their Zoom cocktail hour. I'm just a guy popping up, ruining the vibe. Okay.
So like someone just got the link somehow.
And you know, it's like,
well, and they think it's somebody in house too because of the peanut background.
Yeah, there you go. So I like
they literally grabbed a server from Marietta, Georgia.
So I don't know how I'm introduced, right? The Zoom, you just kind of pop in. So I'm just kind of there. And you know, the thing about when you bomb in real life, most of the time it's a dark room, so you can't see people frown, so you don't care that much, right? When you bomb on Zoom, you're just looking at a yearbook of sad people on the screen, and you can see them mute themselves and get up and leave the room. It is brutal. So that all being said, I am excited to do a show in person for human beings on April 1st.
I love that. I love that.
Awesome.
It's April Fool's, but let me go ahead and tell you something. It's not a joke.
Yeah, it's actually happening.
And we do have 30 tickets left.
Yeah.
Out of the lot. So we've had some people back out last minute. We've got 30 slots available. So if you are loving this and you want a bear hug from Aaron Weber, which I don't even know if we can do that.
Yeah, I don't know if legally we can offer that, but
I mean, no, I mean, Aaron, you and I are going to do it.
There you go.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know how many people we want in.
You and I are going to get in on it. Anybody else can hop in if they want, man.
Right. The green room is actually in a hotel room. And so, you know, I mean,
hospitality suite.
Yeah.
Right.
Love it.
We'll have some Texas Roadhouse peanuts there.
Instead of 2 double beds, I'll ask for a king just so that, you know, we can take a nap before the show.
This is from our buddy Dustin real quick. He said saw that Aaron is in Atlanta on March 26th. He's got tickets to see Nate that night at the Fox Theater, but he will be seeing you the following weekend in Louisville.
What the heck, Nate?
There
Nate,
you go.
You're not watching, but if you were watching, how do you're playing the Fox and you don't have Aaron opening for you?
No, I'm at the Cobb Energy Center with Kathleen Madigan.
Oh, that's
who's
awesome.
Great. One of my favorite comics. It's just very funny that Nate and I
really
will be doing a podcast together that Monday. And then Friday, different city, different venues.
Y'all gonna meet up at the Varsity or something?
We probably won't hang out. I'll be
Right.
we get enough of each other.
Yeah,
y'all see each other.
No,
yeah.
that's
I'm at his house
awesome,
for
bro.
5 hours every Monday. He's like, all right.
So Atlanta folks, check that out. Go to AaronWeberComedy.com to get other dates if you're not in Atlanta and see Aaron in person, or come grab one of those slots at Whiskey Weekend where you will have a very attentive audience.
There we go.
You can do that at whiskeytainment.com. Check that out.
Right?
Y'all are killing it with these puns.
yeah. We may not be the most successful people, but we are the punniest.
Oh, dude, because he's a Jack fan, and I don't know, is that a pun? I don't think it's a pun.
Oh yeah, we do. It's not a pun, but it's our closing tagline.
It's we don't know Jack, but we'll drink it.
There you go.
But that is a pun because we're not talking about. Yeah,
It's actually that's a great Luke Bryan song.
yeah.
I know people like to hate on Luke Bryan. He's got a great song called "You Don't Know Jack," and it's about him sitting at the bar, you know, talking to somebody.
It probably came out before we
what happened
before we did that, but
Maybe
who knows?
it was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
It's very true. I also have it, and we have a new shirt coming out. But the slogan is "Whiskey may kill me, but it won't break my heart." And I've always wanted that to be a song. We had a guy write it, but he's a worship leader, and it honestly
it took a dark turn.
It's a worship leader, so he just repeated that phrase over and over again for 13 minutes.
Oh yeah, well, and then we changed octaves, you know, it's stuff like that. Yeah, and then there was a gospel choir showed up at the end. It got great, you know.
I mean, it was darker. That we were thinking more like Hank Williams Jr. kind of like, but it was more whiskey. It was more sad.
Yeah,
and then you're like, I guess it is kind of a sad concept.
Yeah.
There's heartbreak, killing of
Chris Tomlin almost picked it up, and then he said no.
He said, it's like this would be odd to sing it like Passion Atlanta or something.
Right, yeah. Good whiskey.
Yeah. It's what I drink. It's what I drink.
It is. I wonder if he's
all right. Well, you know what? The Wheeze. I'm bringing the Wheeze on stage. We're singing good whiskey at the show.
All right.
It's gonna happen. I'll bring the guitar.
I love that. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for joining us, man. This was a definite a treat for me, and a bucket list thing, and so I'm glad we got to do that, and also for you saying yes to coming on. I feel like Zoom is easy, but I mean, getting him to schlup up to Louisville,
yeah,
is another story.
It's my favorite city.
Is it?
No. but I will.
That's what comedians do.
I'm kidding. No. Of course, man. I'm so excited. I'm more excited than I was.
Well, that's a good thing.
Like,
That means we succeeded.
Like since when? Like
this
yesterday?
this was a first date, really. This was kind of the
100%.
Yeah, if you'd asked me an hour ago how excited I was about a 9.
Yeah,
I'm pushing 10 now.
Oh,
So there you go.
you haven't pushed 10 ever, Aaron. Okay, let's just be honest. I don't know if you've ever ran.
That's true.
I do make fun of my wife.
but that's because of the gout.
That's true.
There you go. Yeah, I got
not
foot
as well.
problems, dude.
My wife doesn't run, so I try to put her in situations where
She has to run.
ultimate fear sets in, and she has to run. Like,
Well, you're a psychopath.
well, it's always fun because
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, she is a beautiful gazelle, but she does not run like one.
That's why you get relegated to a 10 by 10 space in the basement.
That's very
There you
true.
go.
Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah, I mean, I replaced the cell bars with. It's fine.
You're about to get put in a pod casket. You know what I mean?
Hey,
That was
and
punny.
on that note,
That was pretty punny.
AaronWeberComedy.com. Check him out or come to Whiskey Weekend and see him there. Thanks, everyone. We
Thank
don't
you,
know
guys.
Jack.
But we'll drink it.